Hey guys, the Canucks fan 91 here with my week 4 predictions now. I went 9-7 last week against the spreads, which is pretty good. 7-9 straight up though. You may say that's pretty bad until you hear that 11 underdogs won last week, so not that bad in that case. I'll talk about teams, well, except for this, I'll talk for a minute about the Seahawks and Packers. That game was crazy. I'm a Seahawks fan, and I'll admit that the Packers should have won that game. My one point that I heard Pete Carroll say that I kind of agree with: doesn't matter what happens in there until it gets to the ground, and they couldn't go to review to determine who caught the ball. They already said Golden Tate caught the ball, and they couldn't reverse that. And at full speed, that's your first time watching that full speed live. It's just hard to determine who caught that. Now I'll get down to my week 4 predictions. So, first off, Thursday Night Football. I'm calling the upset. Browns, no. Browns have no chance against Ravens. Ravens by 12 and favored by 12.5. They're gonna win and cover. Not much more to say about this. Ravens just a better team. They're gonna win the game. Next up, Patriots at Bills. Patriots by 3.5. I got the Patriots to win and cover. Patriots, they had a rough week last week. I think they should have won the game on that last-second field goal. I thought it was wide, but I guess they can't review that either. The NFL needs to change its review rules. They should be able to review anything they want. But Patriots to win and cover. CJ Spiller's not playing. I think they got Tashard Choice starting at running back for the Bills, so yeah. Chargers at Chiefs. Chargers by 1.5 is next, and I got the Chargers to win and cover. They were horrible last week against the Falcons. The Falcons' defense and offense dominated them. And the Chiefs beat the Saints. You know what? Screw that. I forget that. Chiefs are going to win. They beat the Saints. I just thought about that. The Chargers got blown out and the Chiefs beat the Saints. So, yeah. Chiefs are my pick for this game. Next up, Panthers at Falcons. Falcons by 7.5. Falcons to win and cover. Falcons, Matt Ryan's put it on an MVP performance. It's only 3 games into the season, but the first 3 games still do matter. Panthers looked horrible on Thursday Night Football, and I mean horrible. Cam Newton has his attitude problems again, just not looking good for the Panthers. They may be one of the worst teams in the NFC this year. Next up is 49ers and Jets. Yeah, 49ers and Jets. Niners at Jets. Niners by 3.5. I got Niners to win and cover. Jets, they aren't that good of a team. Revis is over the season. 49ers had a rough week last week in Mini, but they'll bounce back and beat the Jets. Next up is Vikings at Lions. Vikings by 4.5. This is a really tough one to call, but I'm saying Vikings to win and cover. Lions secondary is horrible. I don't know if Matthew Stafford will be playing in the game. Christian Potter's finally breaking through. AP might be back to his old form. The Vikings defense is starting to play not too bad, and yeah, I think the Vikings are going to win this game. Next up, Seahawks at Rams. Last week, I know I called it the Seahawks beat the Packers, even though they kind of didn't beat the Packers, but officially they still beat the Packers, and yeah, Seahawks at Rams. Seahawks by 3.5. I got the Seahawks to win and cover. Seahawks defense I think they got the best secondary in the league. And then with that pass rush that they had, it's crazy. They're against a worse offensive line. They're against a worse quarterback. They're against worse receivers. They just have a better running game. Well, Cedric Benson wasn't actually that bad. They just didn't run it that much. Yeah, Seahawks offense, Russell Wilson. He hasn't been throwing for amazing stats or anything, but he's had a not great, not bad quarterback rating. Like for how much he's throwing it, he is a bit less than what I expected, but keep him in because the Seahawks are winning still. Next up, Titans at Texans. Texans by 12.5. I got the Texans to win, but the Titans to cover. Titans beat Lions last week, of course, in overtime. A shootout game, like 44-41. Texans, they're a really good team, but 12.5 is too big a spread to pick against a team that just won last week. Even though the Texans might be the best team in the league, I still got the Titans to cover. Next up, Raiders at Broncos. Broncos by 5.5. I got the Broncos to win and cover. Raiders just got lucky last week. They shouldn't have beat the Steelers. I didn't really watch that game at all. I had hockey practice, but yeah, the Broncos they started really bad against the Texans. Well, they actually started good. They went at 5-0. Then they just went down by too much. Peyton Manning tried to make a comeback, didn't work out, and yeah, but I still got the Broncos to win this game and cover. Next up, Dolphins at Cards. Cards by 6.5. I got the Cards to win but not cover. Ryan Tannehill, he's not as bad as I thought he would be. He's a solid quarterback. He just doesn't have receivers. That's the problem. All he has on his offensive line is Jake Long. Other than that, his offensive line is pretty shady. And Cardinals, wow, that's all I can say. Beanie Wells is out till November, but they got Ryan Williams still running the ball. Kevin Kolb has 100 quarterback rating. He stole the job from John Skelton, and their defense. What more can I say about it? That 97-yard touchdown against Michael Vick, that was brutal last week. Okay, next up, Bengals at Jags. Bengals by 1.5. All I'm going to say about this one, how are the Bengals favored by 1.5? You guys know my pick on this. On to the next one, Redskins at Bucks. Bucks by 2.5. I think the Redskins are going to win, and they don't need to cover if they're going to win. So, yeah, Redskins, I watched that game against the Bengals last week. The RG3 is playing so good every game. He's just running for a lot, throwing for a lot. He's on pace for 1,000-yard season in rushing. He's definitely the favorite for the Rookie of the Year so far. Yeah. But the Redskins defense has been a bit shaky. I'm still in agreement with Greg Schiano to blitz the kneel down. If they do force a fumble, how great would that look for them? I didn't even talk about the Bucs at all, but who cares? Okay, next up, Saints at Packers. Packers by 7.5. I got the Packers to win and cover. Saints, they've just been horrible, worst defense in the league. Aaron Rodgers might be back to same Aaron Rodgers next week, but we never know. Okay, next up, Giants at Eagles. Eagles by 2.5, which I think is weird again. Giants are gonna win and cover, of course. Yeah. Giants, they really showed they were the team that won the Super Bowl last year on Thursday night against the Panthers. Eagles, Michael Vick, how bad has he been this year? People are talking about starting Nick Foles now. I agree with that. I really would like to see Nick Foles start over Michael Vick. The Eagles' defense hasn't been very good at all, and their offense has just been horrid. Next up, Bears at Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Cowboys by 3.5. I got Cowboys to win and cover. Bears' offensive line has been pretty bad. Cowboys' defense stepped it up last week, only allowing the Bucs to 10 points. Bears, I'm really not sure what's going on in Chicago right now. Like they had a good game against the Rams, but honestly, I didn't really pay much attention last week to the NFL. I had hockey practice twice on Sunday. Anyways, it's 8.5 minutes right now. I'm gonna just Oh yeah, one last thing. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link in the description. At Matt A. Folk. Okay, see ya.